Today's lesson is topic 8.3, multiplying two-digit numbers by multiples of 10. The objective for today is that you will use grids and patterns to multiply two-digit numbers and multiples of 10. The first problem that we're going to look at today says, in January, Tate's aquarium had 23 guppies. A year later, he had 90 times as many guppies. How many guppies does Tate have? Well, when I take a look at this problem, and if I cube it, I'm taking a look at the problem, or the numbers I have in the problem first. Well, if there's 23 guppies, and then a year later there were 90 times, well, that keyword times tells me my operation is going to be multiplication. I'm looking at a problem that's 23 times 90. In your notes today, we're going to go ahead and do a box diagram for this. So go ahead and create this box diagram in your notes today. With our box diagram, we're talking today about how we can multiply multiples of 10, which are any of those numbers that end in a 0. So for this first problem, like we've worked on before, we're going to write down the problems that I'm actually multiplying together. So in this box, I'd have 90 times 20. Again, just like we've talked about before, I'm going to multiply my non-zero digits. So this one would be 9 times 2, which gives me 18. Because there are 2 zeros in the problem, I bring 2 zeros back onto my answer to end up with 1,800. Over here in this box, I keep that 90, and this time it's whatever number is up here. Non-zero digits, 9 times 3 gives me that 27 with 1 0 brought back on the end, giving me 270. Just like we've talked about before, the answers inside my boxes for my box diagram are my partial products. Partial products must be added together, just like this, to get our final answer of 2,070 guppies. I do want you to have all of this work in your notes. When we talk about multiples of 10 rules, this part I do want you to have written down. This entire slide should be written down in your notes. Multiples of 10 rules. What this means is that you multiply all the non-zero factors, just like we've talked about. So the 9 times 23. Add the same number of zeros to the factors of your product. I want you to have the multiples of 10 rules written down. In your notes, let's use these rules we just talked about, and I want you to multiply 65 times 20. So I set up my problem, and I have 60. If I did a box, I would have 60 and 5. And then I'm going to put my 20 over here. Well, 6 times 2 would be 12 with 2 zeros on the end. This one would be my 5 times my 20. Well, 5 times 2 is 10 with my 0 on the end. And then I add those together, and I would end up with 1,300. But the other way I could solve this would be to take a look at what I have right here, and I'm going to go with my non-zero digits of 65 and 2. Well, I can do 65 times 2 like we've practiced before. 2 times 5 is 10, carry my 1. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 would be 13. But I've got to bring that 0 back onto the end. So my same answer of 1,300 would still be there. Now, I want you to write down these two in your notes and have those ready for class. 54 times 30 and 27 times 60. Be sure to pay attention to the multiple of 10 rules.